Scarlet and Violet Obsidian Flames is crashing, and is it due to demand or is it due to the fact that it was overprinted? Is it also factors with the economy? We're going to discuss it in today's video as we take a look at Obsidian Flames, the sealed product, and some of the singles. Feeding time just in time for me to talk about Obsidian Flames. Welcome back, guys. VMAT here. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and joining in all the fun here. I usually do box opening videos or just any form of opening videos, whether it's thrift stores or random buys. But today I wanted to talk about Obsidian Flames since it's the latest set and it's right before 151. So I wanted to get this video out of the way and talk about this set specifically because I think it's a great set. I do think it's underappreciated and I think that the market may be overreacting in some ways. But I also think there's a lot of other factors that are going on when it comes to Obsidian Flames. You know, we are in a recession right now. Interest rates are super high and they've actually been rising a lot in the past year and a half, faster than any rate in almost history, the amount of actual interest rate hikes that the Federal Reserve has actually caused, not just the Federal Reserve, any sort of central bank. So we are seeing that happening in the economy and it's definitely affecting things. It's definitely affecting the economy when it comes to employment. People have less money to spend. People are trying to figure out what they want to spend their money on. You know, Pokemon's not the only TCG out there. There's a lot of other TCGs and there's people who are fans of multiple TCGs like me. I don't just like Pokemon, I like Magic Gathering and I like Pokemon. I dabbled in Yu-Gi-Oh, but for the most part, those are my two. But to be honest, there are so many other games people will be spending their money on. I think that's definitely a determining factor when it comes to this and when it comes to the prices of this set in general, which again, I think is a great set. You got Charizard, my favorite Pokemon. Well, that and Eevee is probably my second favorite. You have fantastic Pokemon in this set and you have fantastic artwork. It's a great set. The problem is it's very Charizard heavy. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily like Charizard, it's not your favorite Pokemon, it's not something that you collect, you might kind of skip this set. And that could also be one of the many factors really that go on in people's minds when it comes to evaluating what they want to spend their money on. Now with that being said, why don't we take a look at some of these prices and discuss where they're sitting at right now. So we have the booster box here. This is the 1 month trend. Let me bring it back to 3 months so you can see what it's kind of starting off at on TCG Player. Now there was a lot of hype for this set. If you look, $145 for the set when it was actually first up on TCG Player because you got Charizard. He's like the king. Almost every single set that has Charizard on the booster box has risen substantially in price over the past decade or so, right? So you're seeing a box that has Charizard on it. Charizard is the main card, and you know that the set is probably going to be something you want to hold in the future, but maybe you shouldn't be buying it at pre-release, which is even before pre-release, weeks before pre-release, because the prices are going to be all over the place. As you can see, it started off at about $145 and then it's dropped all the way down to $93.96, meaning that this booster box has actually dropped by 35%. Next up here is the Pokémon Center Elite Trainer Box. This is the one that you can get exclusively on the Pokemon website. It's an exclusive that you can't find in stores. If you do find it in stores, it's probably because they actually bought it off of a collector or a player. Now, as you can see here, 3 months ago, it was sitting at a whopping $194.92. And then at release, it dropped like a rock from $182 all the way down to $87.31. And now it is sitting at $92.35, meaning that these Elite Trainer Pokemon Center exclusive boxes have dropped by 52%. Next up here is the Charizard EX, and this is the illustration rare, the special illustration rare, the most sought after card in the entire set. And if you bought it at pre-release, I feel sorry for you. This is pre-release, I should say. Be very cautious when it comes to cards right at the get-go. This card, it was a lot easier to open up and it was a lot easier to pull than people thought, and once realized it wasn't as rare as people thought. You know, if you bought 6 boxes, which is essentially a case, you're probably going to get at least 1, maybe even 2 of these. They're not that difficult to pull for something that's supposed to be this rare. Now, $276.25, geez, dropped all the way down to its lowest point of $73.85 and now is sitting at $78, meaning that this card has dropped by 71.7%. Next up here is the Build and Battle Stadium here. Now, 3 months ago, well, a little less than 3 months ago, at about June 25th to June 27th, on TCG Player, it was listed at $58.84, then it's dropped to its lowest point of $46.23, and now is sitting at about $47.37, meaning that these have dropped by 19.49%. Next up is the regular ETB, not the Pokemon Center exclusive. This one should be readily available at your game stores if you go. Pokemon is definitely going through a boom, and Pokemon, the company, is definitely trying to capitalize on it, so you will see a ton of this product on shelves. Started off at about $59.97, and then has dropped all the way down to $34.83, meaning that these have dropped by 41.9%. Next up is the Gold Hyper Rare Full Art Charizard. Definitely a lot of hype on this card. As you can see, at pre-release, it was $116.24, then has since dropped all the way down to $27.74, meaning this card has actually dropped by 76%. That is the biggest drop out of any card and any sealed product from the Pokemon Obsidian Flame set. Next up here is the final card that I actually wanted to show you guys. This is just the regular Charizard EX Full Art, and as you can see here, started off at $53.45 and then has dropped all the way down to $23.91, meaning this card has dropped by 55.2% since its pre-release pricing. So what can we learn from this? Well, there's a few things that we can learn from going through the data here. One of the things would be that, yes, Pokemon sets and just a lot of sets in general, it doesn't matter what TCG you're into, if you're buying things before pre-release pricing, if you're that excited about a particular set, particular card, it's good to just practice being patient, because a lot of the sets are going to go down in price. But there is a caveat here. Yes, there is a lot of things to be excited about. Charizard is like the most popular Pokemon, I guess, apart from Pikachu. So when you have a card like that that's very nostalgic to older collectors, people who got into base set, jungle, all of that, if you got into Pokemon in Wizard Coast era, anytime you see like a 151 card that is in the set, that's like the main chase card in the set, you are going to get excited. And historically, the data would suggest that cards like this and also sets like this are going to go up in price. If you got Charizard as one of your cards that you're pushing to sell a product, usually the products do well in the future. However, another caveat I will say is that the Scarlet and Violet era and also Sword and Shield era is printed probably more than any other Pokemon set in the last decades. Actually, since the Pokemon Company actually took over Pokemon, there's a lot of cards out there. Apart from like the old Wizard of the Coast era cards, like the base set cards, Jungle, they had a lot of printed cards, but we are definitely in another boom era, which means that Pokemon is definitely going to capitalize and print as much copies as possible and as much sealed products as possible. So something to bear in mind when it comes to buying the set in the future to hold, to maybe invest in, or just collect. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.